Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Clarissa.
I'm so excited to have you with me this morning. Now our plans kind of got rained out because I was hoping that we could meet outside on the beautiful Miramichi River, socially distanced, of course, because you and I both live in Miramichi and love this area. But it's raining, so we're in our homes this morning, as most of the Oasis shows, are recorded. So. I'm so thrilled to have you here to chat a little bit about what is happening in Miramichi with the new tourism plan.
Well, you're right. We got our rendezvous was rained out by the beautiful river, but we'll do it again another time. And this is great too. It's always good to chat with you. And I just got to say, I've got my coffee here in my NBCC Oasis mug, so we're good to go, rain or shine.
Well planned. You planned that out really well. I don't have mine with me. Mine's upstairs. But so what I'm loving is the fact that province has really put a push on for New Brunswickers. I'm calling it New Brunswick for New Brunswickers for New Brunswick, but they've really put a push on to have us, look at our province in a different way this summer and really, look at staycations to keep us home and keep us safe. After COVID-19. And Miramichi has taken that step as well with our new Rediscover Miramichi campaign. So can you tell me a little bit, if we can back up first and tell me a little bit about when COVID hit. First of all, you are our mayor of Miramichi, and you're an entrepreneur here in the city. So you wore many hats when COVID hit. So, when this happened, and as mayor, you knew that our tourism may take a hit. So, how important was it for you to kind of go back to your council table and pivot to develop a new strategy?
Well, it's absolutely very important. Certainly in the COVID context and starting in March, the first few weeks are very focused on health and on making sure that everything's in place to keep people safe and making sure that they have the essentials that they need and that our essential workers feel supported. Of course, many local businesses did shut down, many of them in the tourism sector or in this broader service sector, which is part of the tourism sector. So certainly there was a lot of closure and a lot of people that were not sure what was going to happen. And then as things started to open up, I think we knew, in the first few weeks, there's just certainly the pressure of again, the health and not really quite sure how long this would be. What are we looking at? But as March turned to April and certainly into May, you definitely got a sense that this was going to be a long haul situation, dealing with the pandemic and the community and all that means. And of course, in around that time in April and May, and when we're usually gearing up and getting ready very quickly at the end of April and beginning of May to quickly get the docks into the water, especially the last few years, May has been Striper month in Miramichi with the big tournament, the big Striper Cup festival, and of course in the last couple of years, that's usually at the end of the month, but the entire month you see hundreds of boats on the rivers, and many of those are tourists. So the first, I think, hard decision for us in April was to acknowledge, like everybody else had to in the festival circuit, that we had to cancel the Striper Cup for this year at that time. But as again, then May moves into June, you're looking ahead, and Jeff and the team in the department were working closely with provincial officials who were working closely with federal officials to say, okay, well, first within New Brunswick and now within the Atlantic bubble context, there is going to be some tourism opportunities here. We've got to help some of these businesses get open and save what they can of the season. It's certainly by no means anywhere close to a normal year. But what we're hearing now is that there has been an effective displacement. So some of these outside tourists are, of course, not able to come, but within the province, people are traveling. They're feeling comfortable. And so what we're hearing from tourism operators is that, yes, actually, some of them are doing okay and doing well within this Staycation New Brunswick and Atlantic Bubble. And a lot of that would probably be because of these campaigns. So, that the funding support for these campaigns, for the Rediscover Miramichi campaign and around the province, has come from other levels of government and been developed in partnership, and they're running their own campaigns too. The Tourism New Brunswick campaign is a wonderful campaign, and the Rediscover Miramichi sort of ties into the ongoing regular tourism brand of Discover Miramichi and Atlantic Canada's Great Outdoors. And we're in a good position because so many of our tourism offerings and what we've been focusing on in the last couple of years has really been our branding as Atlantic Canada's Great Outdoors. And, outdoors is a perfect venue, if you would, when you have to stay distanced and you have to stay safe. So it aligns well. And the Rediscover campaign, reminds and encourages people that maybe haven't been here in a few years. And, Clarissa, we've been on the ground here in the community. There's been so much positive transformation in Miramichi in the last few years. We always say to people, if you haven't been here in a few years, you've got to come back, because there's a new feeling in the community. There's so much excitement, so many new things to see and do. So it's always a great time to reappreciate and rediscover parts of the province. And for us, that means welcoming people to Miramichi.
Yeah, and it's so true. And our Striper Cup, as every day when you were scrolling through social media, and in the beginning when businesses started to close because they had to, and then all of a sudden the festivals, and we are known for some of our festivals. The Striper Cup and the Rib Fest kind of kick us off for the summer, and it goes right straight through, even to October when we have our, the food truck festival. And as festivals started to pivot, even though we did see so many boats in the water, I know when we were getting out to walk the dog, the boats at Strawberry Marsh in May was unbelievable, even though we didn't have the Striper Cup event, right straight through to the Rock and Roll Festival, which is another big one for us that, and they pivoted and they did some different events and socially distanced events. So it's been great to see the locals in the local festivals really, instead of just throwing in the towel, because it's so easy to do and say, well, there's nothing we can do. They're really looking at other ways to provide the service that they did. And you're right, a lot of our kind of things to do are outdoors here. Just this week alone, and you'll be happy to hear this, just this week alone, I talked to two friends from the St. John area who had never been to Miramichi, who both booked in for tubing adventures here on the river. Mm-hmm. So that's good, right? That we're seeing people, we're seeing Miramichiers, take part in other things on the river, but we're also seeing people come in that may have never come before. So can you tell us a little bit about what's in the Rediscover campaign, what you're focusing on? I know you're focusing on outdoors, but and maybe a few of your favorites?
Sure, yeah. Well, the Rediscover campaign, I should say in execution, of course, it's targeted social media and radio ads that are, the targeted social media is reaching across New Brunswick and now PEI and Nova Scotia. And the radio ads are running in many of the other markets across New Brunswick. So, I think a little bit of it is running locally here too, but it's of course mostly to encourage New Brunswickers from elsewhere to come. And the primary focus of the campaign that they've developed is the river, quite honestly. And there are many facets to that, whether it's recreational boating, tubing, as you mentioned, which is, by the way, always one of my favorites, canoeing, kayaking, the beaches, of course, because again, Miramichi, we work in tourism. The city works collaboratively with the Miramichi Regional, the River Tourism Association. So it really, the Miramichi tourism market spans all, like where we work together and where we invite people to come and visit is the Miramichi region, which is all the way upriver, up to Blackville, Doketown, and beyond, Upper Miramichi. And of course, that is really tubing country. That's fishing country for salmon fishing and different types of fishing. And it stretches then downwards as well towards Ningawak with the beautiful Hay Island. It's a great little adventure to take, and down the coast with Escuminac Beach, and we claim Kishimilquack National Park certainly as part of our region as well. That's about 30 minutes from my door here. And in my opinion, Kelly's Beach at Kishimoquack is one of the nicest beaches anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
And that is one of my absolute favorite adventures. I think I'm going to be heading there Sunday. The weather looks good and it's my birthday. So my birthday treat is to go to Kishimoquack for the day. I think hopefully that will work out. So really the campaign was primarily focused on drawing people in with the river, which is our greatest natural asset. And then, there are secondary tiers to that as well. So of course, highlighting also some of the cultural opportunities for people. I know you've had guests discussing that before as well, which is a tremendous, interesting asset for the region, and telling the history of our Indigenous people. And then there's more passive things like Middle Island, where there's still some opportunities to learn there, but the museum or are not open as usual. But there's still plenty of culture, and then of course the lifestyle, the food, the drinks. I guess as a business owner at the brewery, it's certainly our first summer, not what we would expect, but we are seeing people every day coming from other parts of New Brunswick, many people overnighting or day tripping. And so a lot of, craft beer enthusiasts are coming to try out a new experience as they would do to other parts of the province as well. We had a group in couple weeks ago, a big group, about 10 people from Moncton area.
Okay.
And they were avid bikers and campers and craft beer enthusiasts, as they explained. So each year they go to a different place around New Brunswick, where there's a campground and a craft brewery. And so they had come up, they were staying at the enclosure overnight. They came to the brewery to try out the beer and stock up for the weekend. And then they were planning to go tubing the next day as well. So there are lots of great opportunities for people to bundle, little adventures, little staycations for a day or a weekend or, a week as well, and really customize what you'd like to do, whatever your interests are. We've got some of that in Miramichi, and you can pick and choose your own adventure here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was chatting with a friend yesterday, and she kind of put it on her Facebook page to say, tell us something we should do in the province. So I commented and said, Miramichi, enjoy the day, lazing back on a tube, stop at Maury's, get an ice cream, have some mini putt, and then spend the night in a treehouse on the, on the edge of the city. I mean, and what a better day to do that and come and explore. And because there is so many things. And kudos to, you folks at the brewery, but the other entrepreneurs in town as well. As you said, we're on the ground when it comes to that. And so many of them, one has started a food truck, to be able to get her food truck out. You are now starting to offer food at the brewery with food trucks. And we almost have to, think outside the box when it comes to, to what's happening. And, we now have our own delivery app, in the city that, businesses can now join this app and have their food delivered. We didn't have that before. So it is so true what you say, that if you visited before, it's time to come back because we have so much more to offer. And that's why I believe that the theme of Rediscover Miramichi is so appropriate for this year. So I thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
From all of us at Oasis to you, thank you for being such an enthusiastic mayor. I think that we have the best here in Miramichi for sure. And enjoy your day at Kishimoquack on Sunday.
Well, thanks so much, Clarissa, for the opportunity to chat. It's always great to chat about all the exciting things happening in Miramichi, especially for the summer. And I think the Rediscover is so appropriate because sometimes, even for us locals, we have our heads down, we're going through our routines, and it's really important sometimes to take that step back and appreciate what we have. And even within French Fork Cove, Ritchie Wharf, so many of the park spaces that have been renewed and re-energized over the last few years too in the city. The Station Wharf will be done in a couple of weeks. And that's so exciting too, to give that space back to the public on the Chatham waterfront. But there's always something to rediscover. So even for people in the Miramichi area who might be watching this, I'd encourage everybody to get out and just try to do one thing or see one thing that you haven't done in a while. And to everybody else, please come and visit us. We're world famous for our hospitality, and we will take care of you this summer. So thanks again for the opportunity to chat Miramichi.
Well, that's a great challenge to issue to the locals watching this and to the rest of the province. So and feel free, anyone who's watching this, that if you do come to Miramichi, or you are a local watching this and you do take the time to go and do something, post it on our page, and we'll be sure to get the word out on what they did. So thanks so much, and you have a great day.
You too, Clarissa. Take care.